You know what? I was gonna do the has again, people, but I thought I might get slapped. You know what I mean? So I'm not. I'm gonna keep it humble, man. I'm gonna keep it real. Welcome back to this TV, people. It's the pre-match hype show. It's Carnage, and it's Arsenal versus Liverpool, and it's live. But yeah, but it's even though the show's today's Carnage, I thought I need people that we're gonna have a chat with, not people that we're gonna have to have shouting matches with, not people that are gonna be biased one way and not the other. So as you can see, the panel right here is probably some of the finest people in this circle right now. I'm telling you, it's not even a joke. Introducing, obviously, Conray. I don't need to introduce you, but I still do. Conray, you good?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Chris. Looking forward to the game tomorrow. A bit nervous now. Now you guys have mentioned that. I completely forgot about it all day, and now they're kicking in now. It's massive. So yeah, the City result last night as well just absolutely amped it up as well. So yeah, it's kicked in now, mate. It's definitely kicked in.
Errol, the returning Errol, my man. What's going on?
It's good, bro. How are you doing? You good? Yeah, a little bit like Conrad. I'm not as nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not as nervous as he might be. But again, it's a big game now. I feel like City have left the door ajar for this title race, and there's an opportunity to capitalize. So we've kind of got to do what we've got to do.
100%, 100%. And I've got two of the calmest, most rational, most logical Arsenal fans in the fan media circles, man. Of course, Dan Potts and Turkish. Dan, you good?
Yeah, safe, man, safe. I'm looking forward to this just because of the way that we're playing. I'm not going to lie. The last time that we were playing you guys at Anfield, I did not feel like this. And I remember coming on the show a little bit like, not looking forward to this one, boys. I don't want to get smashed up. And of course, like we always do at Anfield, we got smashed up. I just don't want that to happen tomorrow night, man. So, but thanks for having me on, man. Much appreciated. And great to see you boys again.
It's not a problem, man. Turkish, what are you telling me, bro?
All good, man. All good. Like, you lot got a lot on this one tomorrow now after that City result. So, I'm looking for us guys to upset you, man. For the first time in a long time, we can actually upset you, man.
Absolutely. I was gonna say, and it's not only that, it's the first time in a long time that both teams have got something riding on it. It's the facts. Facts of the matter are, it's not only one team that's got something riding on it. So do you remember, like, a lot of our games in the past, like, do you remember the one that you beat us was in lockdown when we had won the league?
You won the league.
Yeah.
And you didn't have nothing for it. I don't think you had nothing riding on it either. No. Exactly. And then a lot of the other games have just been going through the motions. I guess we can talk about the League Cup semi-final. That was a bit hot. Like, that got a bit tasty.
Yeah.
But the injury situations and COVID for both teams, all of that business, the false, whatever, the positive, whatever, all of that drama, malarkey. I guess that diluted it. But this one, both teams full strength. Both teams, and I said it on the Big Six, Turkish, where we rattled the other fan bases, the two informed teams in the Premier League, whether you like it or whether you don't. The facts of the matter are, Arsenal and Liverpool are the two informed teams in the Premier League. And that's pure facts. Conray, this has the makings. This has the makings of an absolute cracker, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think just to add as well, there's always a storyline, but I've got to be honest, see watching Palace last night and how much Palace, who you probably say they're safe already, roughly, I know they could get dragged in, but to see how much they wanted that just to be part of that story, just to cause the upset, and then obviously the links with Vieira, obviously the Manchester City history, kind of, I said to you the other night, Chris, every manager's got a bit of an ego, so they want to be involved in that, put their name out there. I made a dent in that title race. Then also I feel like you've got the storylines here with Arteta. Like, there's already a bit of hostility between him and Klopp, but now obviously he's best pal Pep, getting involved in that. Arsenal need to keep on top four, and if they win this game, it's massive, because in fairness to Arsenal, I will give them credit. People keep saying, the game's in hand, who it's against. But the other teams around them were not beating the teams who they need to beat. They're bored about, we beat Tottenham 3-2. That's great. But you lost the Aston Villa, drew 2-2 with Aston Villa. The good thing about Arsenal is they beat the teams they need to beat. And they put themselves in a very good position. But to kind of cement that even more going in, huge opportunity for them. And obviously for us to put the pressure right on City. It's absolutely blockbuster. It very much seems I'd say, I hope it's not the case, like a kind of Newcastle, Liverpool, Kevin Keegan, that for him. I hope it's not like that, but that's what I feel towards tomorrow. Like, I don't want it to go that way, but there's a lot riding on it.
There's a lot riding on it, Errol. There's a lot riding on it. You've done the last few watch-alongs on Redmen TV. I see you getting so excited, and you know what I mean. If I could sort of take a pulse of yours, I would like to regularly do that. I need to monitor your heart rate because, boy, the last couple of games, and it's mental, isn't it? It's what this team does to us, isn't it? Liverpool is taking us through the middle. Like 6 games ago, it was all over. I was on the show as well. I was saying, look, you know, it is what it is. Let's concentrate on the Cups, Champions League. But now, the adrenaline's like there, isn't it?
In my entire lifetime, this is all I've known from Liverpool in terms of if we're going to do shit, we're going to make it as heart-wrenching as physically possible for anyone that's associated to the club. So if you're a fan, you got friends, family, whatever it is, when you're watching Liverpool play, if we're going to go to the heights that we want them to go to, it's always going to be blood, sweat, and tears. And you can't just sit there and relax and enjoy it. The only time we didn't do that kind of thing was obviously the year that we actually walked the league. And that was a relief. But we've been dragged back into a title race now. And I know you mentioned earlier that it's the 2 informed teams of the league. I would argue that Arsenal slightly more informed in terms of the way they're playing than Liverpool at the moment. I think Liverpool have got this mentality at the minute the performance doesn't matter. Yeah. The performance doesn't matter as much as the result. Where I feel like Arsenal are now starting to click into gear. I don't know if the lads, you know, that support and watches week in, week out will agree that you're starting to click in terms of the way that you're playing. Some of the football that you've been, you know, playing the last couple of games has been expansive. It's you know, the goals that you were scoring the other day, it was free flow and all that kind of stuff. And making me think you're kind of sitting up and having to pay a little bit more attention to this Arsenal now because they're kind of reminding you of how they used to be able to ball and play football. And I just think from a Liverpool perspective, it's a good time to meet them. I'm looking at it as a good time simply because the one thing or the one chink in Arsenal's armor over the years is when the pressure is on, how do they handle that pressure? And I think now that there's an opportunity for them to go, we could throw a spanner in the works of the title race, but also there's a level of importance for us in terms of cementing top 4 because this is one of our games one of our games that we've got to play now. I think you're looking at it and think, well, there's pressure a little bit on Arsenal now. Are they going to be able to perform under that? Because they've been beating the teams, as you rightly said, that you'd expect them to beat. But this is one of their games in hand now. Are they going to be able to go out there and put a performance in against another informed team?
Yeah, Turkish, that's the thing, isn't it? We always speak about Arsenal. Every time they play a team that's one of the top 6 or one of the top 4, we say this is the test to see how far this team has progressed. I think the last time that you had one of these games was against Man City. I don't know if you want to count Leicester City. I suppose Leicester are one of your rivals as well for around that area. Actually,
going into the season, it was meant to be, isn't it?
Yeah, actually, it's true. Actually, Leicester City would be one, but before that, the big team you had was Man City, and so many people have talked about the performance that you put in that game at your ground. Similar. So Man City were going for the title. You guys were still scrapping, but you put on a show, even though you lost. And the 10 men who got sent off, it was the usual guy,
Gabriel.
Gabriel in this one.
Shit!
It was Gabriel.
Yeah. I'm getting confused because Jack.
So used to Chaka.
Yeah, he gave away the penny.
He gave away the penalty, but I remember watching that game and going mad because you lot were playing so good before that incident, and Man City, obviously looking back now, it hurts even more. But Man City got away with that game because I think performance-wise, would you say that was one of your better performances? And you're looking to put in a performance like that, right, tomorrow?
Yeah, it's definitely one of our better performances against the big. Let me not say big 6 sides in general against Man City and Liverpool because Man City and Liverpool are levels above the rest of them. Definitely, but you know what? I give credit to Arteta as well because in his press conference today, they mentioned how good we played against City, but he said, you know, we need the result as well as the performance. It's not about, you know, how good you look, and that's the sort of pressure that needs to be applied to Arsenal Football Club. But at the same time, we've got to understand that this is a young side, and when we look at the first game against Liverpool earlier in the season, or let's say the 2 games against Man City this season, you know that the reason we're not, able to compete yet with you guys or with Man City is, lacking experience and real quality in big positions. That still hasn't been addressed. So as much as I'm excited for tomorrow and we're going in on the front foot and, we're in good form and whatnot, we're going up against a team that we haven't done anything in January to kind of close that gap, which I'm not moaning about at present because at the moment things are going well. I'm not moaning about it and we'll see how it goes. But what I am saying is the expectation tomorrow needs to be kind of measured. I'm excited about it. I think we can get something from it. But in order for us to get something from it, Liverpool are going to have to underperform tomorrow and we're going to have to overperform. It can be done, but at the same time, the expectation is still very balanced. Like I said, I'm excited about it though.
100%. Stefan says I had to choose between this and the Champions League, so you guys keep me updated. Wife took the TV. So,
and there's talk of Gabriel didn't train today, so
wait, someone just said that, and I thought you get people.
His partner's 9 months pregnant apparently, so maybe it's something to do with that. But
and into labor, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That would be massive, isn't it? So
what I mean, I don't know. You guys probably know the situation more. Like, is he? Because that's huge, Because we're gonna get into the significant, the important players, right? But I can tell you from the Liverpool fan point of view, Gabriel is absolutely vital. But before we get into that, Dan, your season so far. Yeah, emotional roller coaster. We know it always is with Arsenal fans. It always is with Arsenal Football Club. Very much like what Errol says, we've been through that, the emotional roller coaster of Liverpool. We've been up, down, in the middle, building it again. How are you feeling right now with where your club's at?
So everybody knows that I've questioned the process. Everybody knows that I wasn't too keen on Mikel Arteta being appointed because I didn't feel that we wanted to go from scratch to proper scratch, if that makes any sense. Like, let's go to scratch, but let's have an experienced manager to take a young team forward. I sometimes felt that if this process was going to be young all around, then inexperience would come with inconsistency, and that's what started to happen. The reason I think this, not just on Wednesday, is important, but actually the next run of games, is because what we've seen from Arsenal Football Club over the last 2 years is a few losses, then a winning streak, then a few losses, then a winning streak. And my worry is we're going to have a couple of banana skins, not just tomorrow night, but against Aston Villa away and Crystal Palace away. I saw Crystal Palace last night, thought they were very, very difficult to break down. And let's be honest, what we're moulding at the moment looks very similar to Manchester City in terms of our shape and the way that we're playing. Having said that, I've been so impressed with us the last few games. I've been questioning whether we have a style of play for probably 2 years, and now it looks like we finally do. And it might have taken a little bit of time, but you know what? I have to give Arteta some credit because the players that he has brought in are fitting into this style now. So he has to be given credit for who he's brought in. He's removed the culture, the recruitment between what we've seen in the last 2 transfer windows. Probably got to say that in January it was poor, but actually in terms of who we left in January, we haven't actually missed the players that have left the club. Although people were in uproar about Aubameyang, about Pablo Mari, about Chambers all leaving, at the moment, being one competition a week, it looks okay. I hope we can continue to say that come in May. How do I feel at the moment, Grizz? I'm confident going into games, and that's something I've not been for a very, very long time. And I have to look at this young side and start to question not just how great the manager's been with them, but how good they have come into their own. That this Martin Ødegaard is a completely different Martin Ødegaard to the one that I saw last season. This guy's instrumental in midfield. I questioned whether he could drive us forward like Cesc Fabregas. He's doing that at the moment. The guy is absolutely amazing to watch. And that has brought other players into play. Thomas Partey has stepped forward and he's that anchor in midfield that we've now always wanted him to be. Bukayo Saka, who, let's be honest, had a little bit of a quiet start to the season, is now one of our best players because that right-hand side that Ødegaard has now taken, he's no longer a number 10 and he's an attacking 8 on that right-hand side of that diamond. And all of a sudden, him and Saka together are just looking superb. I think when you look at how dominant our left-hand side was, Turkish will tell you that the right-hand side was always the one until Tomiyasu came in that was a little bit lopsided. But actually, I look at it now and I think this might be actually one of the strongest right-hand sides we've had in a very, very long time. And I think the manager has to take credit for that because of the system that they're now playing with this diamond, with Partey at the base, Ødegaard and Xhaka playing as kind of 8s. And then, of course, Lacazette at the tip of that diamond, who, like Man City, isn't a proper out-and-out centre forward, but he's being the kind of Bobby Firmino, I suppose, of the team, and allowing Saka and Martinelli to get into the game. So I've been really, really impressed, and I have been critical of not just Mikel Arteta, but the actual process, because I wasn't one to be patient for another 2 to 5 years, because I've already been patient for 16 to see Arsenal win the league. Well, actually, it's 18 now, believe it or not, nearly. So what I'm seeing at the moment, I'm really happy with. But like I say to you, Grizz, I've been here before. I do not want to get to a stage where Liverpool is a loss and we slip up on the banana skins of 2 very difficult away games, and then we're back to being inconsistent Arsenal. This top 4, something drastic has to happen for us, in my opinion, now, not to get it, because the other teams around us, as Conroy was saying, are just terrible. I mean, that's not even an understatement, mate. That they have been so poor, Spurs and Manchester United. So this is a massive game for both teams tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to it.
Conor, do you know what it is? You know what? From listening to Conor, you was going to say Conor.
No, I was just saying that's mad, because obviously just listening to the socials and like you said, you just recapping your season and stuff there, Dan. Listen to the socials from the game we played. I think it might have been November when we bumped into you at the beginning of the season, and the Arsenal fan base, maybe as a general consensus, was treating it as a free hit. We know Liverpool are levels above us. We know we're not ready to compete right now. We know we just kind of want to measure where we're at. Do you know what I mean? How far are we off from this Liverpool side? And you're laughing because I can imagine you've probably heard other people saying similar things. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So it just feels it's refreshing to see, like, now you feel as though things are starting to finally click into place. It's just, again, you're now about to book with a big boy again, and it could be one of them where you end up getting your nose knocked out of joint because you don't know if some of you are going to set your bar too high. You can never really gauge the Arsenal fan base. You'll get some really level-headed people that'll see it for what it is, and then you'll get the other end of the scale where they expect, now, if we can put a performance in against Liverpool, all of a sudden we now need to compete next year because we've got one good result against them.
You know what this young team has shown, and I think it's probably the best thing they've shown this season. Forget the quality, the goals, the moments, the play, and the style of football coming into fruition. Yeah, we lost the first 3 games of the season. We bounced back to go unbeaten until we met you guys at Anfield. I think we went unbeaten from those first 3 games to the Liverpool game. Then we lost to Liverpool. I wouldn't say free hit, but I guess it's understandable when you look at the overall stage Liverpool are at and the overall stage Arsenal were at. Then we lost to Man United, which is not so understandable. Then we lost to Everton, 3 away losses in 4 games, I think. This young team again bounced back from that and had their best month in December. I think we scored about 17 goals. We only conceded a couple. Then January comes and we get knocked out by Forest in the FA Cup. We get knocked out by you guys in the League Cup. We lose Oba, who, all right, on one hand, people might say he brings down the dressing room. On the other hand, he was a big character that a lot of them did like in the dressing room too. We know that. But this young side then, again, bounced back, beat Wolves twice around the time when, very few teams were beating Wolves. And up until now, this is a big test. This is definitely a big test. But like I said before, we haven't added what we need to add to think any different to what we thought against Liverpool the first time, which is we expect the performance, we expect to give it a go. And at home, a point, dare I say, I expect a point. But at the same time, when you lot are going for the league and Manchester City just dropped points, I think your tails are up. You're going to be raring to go. And I think it might be the worst time to be playing Liverpool, home or away. But we'll see.
Conor, when people talk about like the worst time to play a team or a good time to play a team, I genuinely don't. In this occasion, I don't know where we're at with that. I think both teams are at their best, in terms of form, fitness. Okay, we've just heard that Gabriel might be not playing. We'll get into that, what Dan and Turkish think of that. But it's one of those games where, winner takes all type thing. I guess it's far more important for us because of the games that they've got in hand. Maybe I don't know if the Arsenal lads agree with that, but for us, it's absolutely vital. And everyone's right that this ain't one of those games where we normally turn up and give Arsenal a bit of a physical welcome, and then we all overcome them, because Arsenal have shown that they can handle the physical side as well at the moment.
Yeah, and I actually think, to be fair, it's obviously a huge game for Liverpool, but I do think it's a huge game for Arsenal because, as Dan referred to there, it's like that Villa away, Dan, as you said, that's a big one, mate. That's a hard game. See with Coutinho's in form and stuff like that, and Jacob Ramsey, like they've got players who can hurt you. You can hurt them as well with Saka and Martinelli. Not disputing that, but I do get it because I think. See, to be fair to the guys, I actually think it's a big season for Arsenal. Like, all jokes aside, I think if you get top four, doesn't matter what predictions before the season, all that. It's a big, big statement to get that, especially when the money Manchester United have spent, and obviously Tottenham getting Conte, and like, fair play to West Ham, they've done okay, but they're not going to get it. So I think for Arsenal to succeed is massive for I'm not going to say the process, but for the trajectory of the club and they want to go. And I feel like, in his mind, if they could get a win or getting a point, it takes a little bit of the pressure off some of those games, I would say. And it probably puts more pressure onto Manchester United, who are going to Anfield in a couple of weeks. So I think it's pretty big for Arsenal as well. And I feel like, as you said, Chris, I don't listen to anyone who says it's a good time to play them, because West Ham were fatigued as anything, came to Anfield, and we only won because they missed a sitter. So I don't look into that at all. I think this game, like, you just see how it goes. But with regard to the physicality of Arsenal, I've always said this. See, one of the best press and performances, or up there for a team who done well this season, was Arsenal against Man City, of a team how to nullify City in the first 20 minutes with Martinelli and Saka and Odegaard sitting on Rodri. Thought these were honestly brilliant. And you were unlucky. People say unlucky a lot in football. You were unlucky in that game. That ball falls to Rodri. It could fall anywhere. It's just one of those. But what I would say is you started that game so well. And the only thing in the League Cup game against Arsenal, I thought you would have done that slightly better. I mean, you started okay. Lacazette hits the bar, but you never really created much more after that, as you say. But the pressing was good. So I expect a similar sort of start. I just think in that game, we had a bit more quality with Jota that night. And I hope that's the case again. But I don't expect it to be plain sailing by any means. I think it's going to be about starting the game as we have, Grizz, and figuring Arsenal out and how they're going to approach it, and then going from there.
Do you know what, Dan? The one thing about Arsenal right now is I could pick your team and formation. And not a lot of times we could have done that in the past, right?
Yeah.
We didn't know what Arteta was going to pick. We didn't know what formation he's going to play. With Liverpool, we know the formation, but we don't know what strikers we're going to play, basically. And we're going to get into that. Errol and Connor are going to give their opinions. Like, it could be any one of 5, 6, you know what I mean, players that no one's really got a clue. But take into consideration what Connor just said about that League Cup game, because I was at that game and the atmosphere was red hot before the game. Like, people were up for it. Arsenal fans were up for it. You got the goalless draw at Anfield. You was coming into this, but I thought we calmed it down very quickly. How are you guys going to react? Do you think? What do you guys need to do different tactically to make sure that we don't get a chance to quieten the crowd, so to speak? Like, how are you anticipating something different?
It's going to be an interesting one, Grizz, because that night things were in a different kind of situation for us in terms of fitness of players.
Yes.
Obviously, we had a real terrible time where we just got dumped out of the cup by Nottingham Forest, and it was like, is this going to be silverware? Some people were saying silverware's not important. It's all about top four. Silverware's always been important to me every single season. So I was gutted to go out to Nottingham Forest, and I really had a bad feeling going into that game. I felt like Tomiyasu was unfit, and when he played, we haven't seen him since. I don't know why we brought him back into that. He had a really poor night. And unfortunately, Jota had an unbelievable night. I mean, that guy was unplayable. I thought it was a really poor goal to concede that night, but actually, it didn't really look like an Arsenal setup that hopefully we're going to see again tomorrow night. And the reason I say that, Thomas Partey did his best. Quick, let's get myself another couple of weeks off. Let's just come on and get sent off as quick as I can. Our midfield was all over the place. It had no shape and no dimension. So I think you're going to see a different setup from the League Cup. What my kind of fear is is, and Jamie Carragher actually brought it up last night on Monday Night Football, which I thought was really quite interesting. There was a couple of times where, because of this style of play that we're now seeing, we're leaving ourselves a little bit open for the long ball, and that is a couple of passes in your midfield, and you've got take your pick: Salah, Mane, Jota, Diaz, who, by the way, I think is just unreal, unreal. Like, this kid looks ridiculous. Like, he can be anything he wants. Like, I'm sure we'll talk about him, but this kid looks special. I'm so glad he didn't go to Tottenham. Yeah,
we don't even need to use the midfield for that one either, though, mate, because we've done it in the past with the man. We don't even need to use the midfield for that long ball over the top, because that's
it's a great point.
It's that diagonal from him or Trent. Sometimes they'll just pick them out. If they can see it's on, they're brave enough to try those balls all day if you leave that space open for us.
And do you know what, Errol? It's a great point, because you've got some ballers in your side that have the ability technically to do that. And I think that is probably my biggest concern, is that we can get caught out with some of this. We have left ourselves open a little bit, and Leicester didn't quite manage to get it. With a touch from Harvey Barnes that was better, they were actually in, to be fair. So there's going to be a Mo Salah situation if he's fit, or whoever, like we've just mentioned some names, that might be able to hurt us on that counter. The only good thing, and I'm going to say it, but I'm probably going to jinx this now, it's going to be a Van Dijk header, and it's going to shut me up. But we haven't conceded from a set piece in 120. Now, I've got to give Nicholas Jova, I don't quite know how you say the surname, from Man City, that we've got the set piece coach. Every single set piece, whether it's attacking or defending, he's next to Arteta, he's barking orders, and he's definitely had some impact on that. So it's been 120 set pieces. I've said it now, Turkish Van Dijk header, it's coming. But it's one of those things, man, that I think that we have definitely improved upon. So I feel like if you are to hit us, it will be previously spoken that we may leave ourselves a little bit vulnerable at times with your quality players. You've mentioned the names. You don't need to go through how great your side is. Everybody laughed at me at the start of the season when I said Liverpool win the league, and they're not laughing now. I said Liverpool would win the league at the start of this season. Everyone said, you're mad, it's going to be Chelsea. Now they've gone quiet. Everyone said, you're mad, it's going to be Man City. And now they're feeling a little bit like that as well. I've said you'll win the league all along, and I'm going to stand by it.
See, now people know why I got Dan as the show. You know what I mean? I thought, nah, but he has to be fair to him. And to be fair to me, Dan, I've always told you about Arteta and Arsenal.
You have, bro.
I've said just stick in there with him, But Errol,
there's Teta, in it.
You know what I mean? But Errol, Dan talks about sort of the way Arsenal play. And do you know the way they play and the way they set up? Guess who it reminds me of?
Go on.
Us. I'm serious. It reminds me of us, because the way he's set up, he believes in the high line. Because who did he get? Who was he under? He was under Pep Guardiola, Arteta, I'm talking about. And Man City play a high line. We play a high line. They have two in midfield, Xhaka and Partey. Yeah. Sorry, as Dan says, Partey's been their Fabinho type. And then they've got Xhaka and Odegaard, who are floating eights, creative eights, however you want to say it. Odegaard. No, but
it's a hybrid of. Go on.
The comparison doesn't even end there. Xhaka's the more defensive eight, whereas Odegaard's the attacking eight. Guess what? Henderson. Look, thank you. So similarities don't end there. Then they've got Saka wide, tries to keep the width as much as possible. Yeah. And then they've got Martinelli, who's always looking to get in behind, just like Mane is or Jota is. And then the Bobby, Lacazette. So you can see so much similarities. Knowing that they play like that, surely we should know how to counter that, because we play like that in training. Both teams will probably play like that in training, and we know how to hurt that kind of formation.
So you just called Arsenal a B-Tech Liverpool. Is that what we're doing?
No, that's what you've just done.
Do you know what? It's a hybrid. It's a hybrid of the two of this, between the City style and our style. And I think they've got more players that suit our mold. So he's adapted, but I think his blueprint is obviously what he's known and what he's come upon in terms of his tutelage under Pep. But no, you're 100% right. I don't think, Lacazette's output has been off the chart since he's probably ever been at Arsenal. I don't think he's ever scored more than 15 goals in a season for you in the Prem, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But in terms of his work rate and that linking up of other players and bringing other players into play, he's always been more than capable of fulfilling that role, and he has always had that air of Bobby about him when he plays up to his level. There are a few comparisons that you can make with that team. I think the one thing that you mentioned there for us is, are we equipped to be able to deal with that? And I looked at, when I did the watch along the other day, the 11 that we had put out, it might have been, what was the game? I think it might have been the Norwich game. The 11 that we had put out, because it was a much change. I think we changed like 9 players, and we looked at it, and I was like, I'd like to see that 11 versus our starting 11 for who we'd play on the weekend, because it's going to be a completely different team, but the style in which we play doesn't change. Like, if you watch enough of a Liverpool, you know that whether Klopp plays his starting 11 or he plays his second string, the way the patterns of play, they're all the same. The runs in behind are all the same. The movement from the defenders, apart from what the defensive qualities bring, i.e., Matip's that ball carrying centre half. He will bring the ball out and he will try and do a little mazy run here and there. But Konate's a little bit more physical and he'll play shorter passes. But apart from those slight differences, everything else is the same. So I've been thinking that for a while. We've now built our squad to a point where you can actually have a pretty strong head-to-head between the two. And one's probably a little bit less in terms of heavy hitters, but you'd expect the other team to be able to work on the system as well, to be able to counterbalance that. And I think those type of situations, hopefully, is something that we've been working on over the last couple of months since the likes of Diaz has been in and the lads back from AFCON, where we can actually trial that out in training in midweek, because we are going to come up against the opposition that is going to set up and play very similar to us. They are going to try and hit us on the break. The one thing that I'm probably conscious of at the moment, though, is given the fact that I feel like Arsenal are going to want to play for something in this game, I don't think they will look to be as compact as they may have been if we'd have played them 3-4 weeks ago. I think they will want to fancy their chance to see, can we lay a glove on this Liverpool side? And that's where, as Dan mentioned before, the opportunities for us to play the balls over that high line might come in as a key asset for us.
Turkish, I'm intrigued as well with that, because I agree. The first time, like when we played you guys in the League Cup, you guys had awful problems with injuries and COVID, and you had a couple of, I think about 3 or 4 players that were just rushed back type thing. And as I've said, you guys are nice and refreshed now. Like, you guys, since that game that we played in the League Cup semi-final, you guys have played 6 games. We've played 12. Yeah, that's literally double the amount of games you've played since then. No fitness issues, apart from Gabriel. We don't know what's going to happen with that.
Yeah.
Knowing your coach, when he approaches these kind of big boy games, right? Do you think he's going to change anything, the way he's going to approach this then? Or do you think he's very much like Pep and Klopp, only knows how to play one, and he's so like stubborn in the way he's going to play? Like, are you going to come out and attack us, do you think?
To be honest, I hope so.
You want them to, yeah? Is that how you want them to play?
Now I'd want them to. Earlier in the season, when we went into the first fixture, I said, tuck Tierney and put Tavares on the left and go with a back 3, back 5. Now I'm looking at it a bit differently, because the difference between the League Cup fixture between us and now, is I think our midfield was Lokonga, Emil Smith-Rowe, and Odegaard, I think. And I remember Fabinho and Van Dijk being key in that game. Like, in a sense, they bullied some of the youngsters out there, because they're seasoned vets. This time round, we're going to have Partey in there, so Partey really needs to, stand up to, Fabinho, whoever plays in the middle, and make himself count, because the youngsters with a bit of protection, we've seen what they can do. It's just that when you come up against Liverpool, Man City, that's it. I won't even stretch it to Chelsea. When you come up against Liverpool, Man City, the experience really counts a lot more than anything. We still haven't got the experience right, but we're in a better place overall than we was when we first went into the first fixture earlier this season and the League Cup fixture. We're in a better place. So hopefully that momentum adds to like the youthfulness and like the never say Martinelli's going to be key. Martinelli's going to be key, because out of all the youngsters, he's the one that's got the fight. He's the one that's got the, like, it does a 50-50 with Van Dijk. Martinelli don't care. He's going in. We saw it last time round and whatnot.
But again, look at the comparison. He's like a young Sadio Mane. That's exactly what Sadio Mane was about.
Yeah. So for
Fearless.
me,
He's fearless, man. He's fearless.
he's the one that's he's the one that's got that kind of in him that maybe Emil and Saka don't have or haven't shown yet. But that might come with the Brazilian side of him and whatnot.
Do you think the home? Do you think your home, the crowd as well, are going to drive you forward in that respect?
Yeah,
Or will you kind of get sucked into that?
This season, our fans, home and away, it's been different. I haven't been to many games this season, but from what Dan tells me, Lee, other Arsenal fans, I've been to the Tottenham home game, went to about 4 or 5 away games so far. The atmosphere is different. The belief is different because we've got a different team. 9 of the 11 players out there week in, week out, I feel connected to. Even a couple coming off the bench, I feel connected to. Have they done anything for us yet? No, but the connection matters.
Who surprised you most, if you don't mind me asking, bro, this season?
What player?
Both Arsenal, both of you players, yeah.
Surprised
Who's
me
either
most?
come on, or surprised you most in terms of what they've done for you on the pitch?
Ramsdale.
You're on mute, Dan. You're on mute, Dan.
Ramsdale.
That was the chance to do the Alan Partridge one there. Dan.
Yeah, I think Turkish just come up with a great one. I think obviously Ramsdale. For me, it's been Martin Odegaard because he was a player that I always thought had technical ability, but I just think the last few games he's just raised to another level. I mean, I've not seen this guy control games like the way he has been. So I think for most improved player is probably between him and Smith Rowe. The one who's surprised is probably Aaron Ramsdale because everybody was going, no way, what are we getting this guy for? 3 relegations with 3 teams, what the hell? And he's come in and just been outstanding. So I think he's probably a good shout from Turkish, to be fair.
Yeah.
He'll be England's number 1 for the World Cup, him.
Same for you, Turkish, Ramsdale.
Yeah, Ramsdale for me. There's a few there, For me, Odegaard, I knew the quality he has.
Yeah, it's not really a surprise, is it?
Yeah, for me, it's just like, can we make it work with him was the problem.
How much did he cost, Turkish? How much did Odegaard cost?
30 million.
So you got him for 30 million, and he was when he was at Madrid, he was like, I don't know how much Madrid paid, but he was like, people are thinking he's going to be the next wonder kid, like the next, superstar. I mean, he's obviously, he was good at Sociedad as well, wasn't he? So it's not like it was a million miles away, the form he had. He just had to bring it back. Sorry, mate, when you go.
The Premier League is obviously tougher than La Liga. Obviously, there's an argument La Liga is more technical. Maybe not so much this season and the last couple, but it's definitely a tougher league. The Premier League. It's definitely more. It's definitely more on your body. Every 90 minutes is physical, and Odegaard had to get used to that. Yeah, he came into Real. I think he came into Real like when he was 15, 16, and the pressure was high at the time. And I never really heard much from him after that. But then the Real Sociedad loan move, I looked into that because we had loaned him then 6 months after that loan ended. So I thought, all right, let me look at what he last done. Good reviews, they wanted him back and whatnot. And, he came to us. In the summer, I was quite happy. I was happy that we signed him. Been linked to Maddison. I thought I'd rather Odegaard, I know, Maddison, obviously he's been in the league. We've seen him week in, week out, but he's a different type. And I see Emil Smith Rowe can become that type. Whereas Odegaard is different. Odegaard brings something else.
How much would Maddison have cost you as well?
60, 70 million?
He's a top. I do like Maddison, but when you're paying that money, you're expecting like a game changer, that's Vlahovic money. Something that's going to put you in a different level.
That kind of money.
Yeah, and it might not work out. So 30 million on Odegaard, I think, even if it doesn't work out, but I think it will, it's still financially smarter anyway.
Yeah, Ramsdale, the thing about Ramsdale was we didn't think we needed a goalkeeper like that when we went into the summer, and we spent quite a lot on him. So you put them two things together, and then, his reputation wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst either, but people just tended to look at the 2 relegations and whatnot. Obviously, I think he was player of the season those 2 seasons as well, which not a lot of people looked at the time. And what he's brought is he's added the most to our style, in my opinion, than anyone else on that pitch.
He can play out from the back, innit?
Yeah. I mean, he can turn a catch into a counter attack like that, and we haven't had that. You know what I mean? Like, we've admired it at Liverpool, we've admired it at Man City, and I'm not saying he's that level, but he's brought that aspect in. So hopefully we can continue building. And Tomiyasu's another one that's surprised.
I was going to say Tomiyasu's.
I would have got Smith Rowe.
Yeah, he's another. Yeah, listen,
Smith
he's
Rowe
had
would have been there.
mad a few.
But do you know what I like about Tomiyasu, right? Because all you guys are naming obvious ones, because you know what I mean. That's what you lot do, innit? I'm doing the real analysis here, right here. I've been studying, right? So first of all, shout out to Joshua, yeah. Evening, fellas. Big up Turkish Dan and Grizz, my guys. Do you know what about Tomiyasu, guys? All right. He was an unknown quantity. Don't ever tell me any of you lot had been watching Tomiyasu. Dan, not even you. You wasn't watching Tomiyasu. Okay. Even Conroy, you was not. Let's get that clear.
Oh no, I've not watched
Okay.
Tomiyasu.
Okay, because you might come out with actually Grizz. You know what I mean? Like Tomiyasu.
No, I'm not
If
gonna
he
have
was,
an
if
Abbey
he was
moment
a,
tonight.
if he was a left back at Hibs, then Conroy would have been all over it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Probably went
yeah.
same uni as him or something. Then if that's the
Yeah,
case.
I know.
But do
he's
you know
good.
what,
He's
Tommy?
good.
But Tomiyasu, right, guys? The upgrade that was needed from Bellerin was so crucial, in my opinion, to that side of you guys, because we always knew Tierney's quality. It was just Tierney who needed to stay fit. We knew Gabriel, once he finds his feet, is going to be rock solid. So we knew, or people are going to say, Grizz is saying we again, like Arsenal, yeah. But even people that watch football knew that Tierney and Gabriel, if they stay fit, is going to be solid. That's what I think anyway, right? I always used to think Bellerin is one of the worst, most overrated players I've seen. Honest to God, I could not stand that guy. And I thought he's so overrated. Arsenal fans used to tell me about, oh man, but he's so quick and this and that. He's nothing. He was rubbish.
Awful.
This guy, I get that he didn't have big shoes to fill, but he needed to solid that right side down. And before his injury, obviously, I think for me, looking on the outside, I thought he's been brilliant on that right side of the defense for you guys, because he's not shabby on the ball. He's not great going forward, but he knows how to keep hold of the ball when it's in a deep lying position, like, to circulate the ball. I don't know. For me, he's been the surprise because I didn't know him. I didn't think he's going to be able to adapt into the pace and frantic nature of the Premier League and the way you guys play a high line as well. It takes a brave player to fit into that system. That's just my shout. I don't know if you guys want to say something about Tomiyasu.
Yeah, I don't know if you agree, Turkish. I do think he's been fantastic, and I think he's given us a little bit of discipline, and his aerial ability as well is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And I think something I spoke to Turkish about actually this weekend was Cedric being quite disciplined, which we don't normally see. We normally see him bombing forward. What that has allowed is Kieran Tierney's coming back into the game, because Kieran Tierney was having to kind of not bomb down that left, which we like to have seen, because Cedric was doing that on the right-hand side. Tomiyasu, of course, came into that and allowed that to happen. And since he's been out, Cedric, to be fair, has played well. But I do prefer Tomiyasu. I've been really, really impressed. And again, I think people were talking about Arsenal's and Arteta's signings, and Ramsdale and Tomiyasu were the two that come to mind straight away as being the ones that surprised. So, yeah, I think it's great shouts.
Can I just add one thing, Grizz, about the players
Very
as well?
quickly,
Shout out to Saka. Like, I get, we all know how good Saka is, but someone listened to radio the other day and he said, this is a teenager who's missed a penalty in the most viewed game at that moment. Do you know what I mean? It'd be very easy to have a quiet season and take a long time to get your confidence back. But I know you said he started the season quiet, but however, to still have the impact he's had, score that goal against Manchester City, had big moments. That goal against Watford was Messi-esque, outstanding. It's like, to have a really good season following that, I think deserves a shout out as well.
Connor, I'm going to stick with you because tomorrow then we're going to try to get into the lineups. And as I said, I could pick Arsenal's team like easy. It's going to be very straightforward. Maybe one position, and I'll get the guys' opinion on that. But from a Liverpool point of view, how are you setting up tomorrow? Give us your lineup that you think how you would set up.
Yeah, tomorrow, Grizz. So Alisson in goal, Trent, Matip, Van Dijk, Virgil, Robbo, and my midfielders would be, what's it written down here? I'm going for Fab, Hendo, and Thiago for me. And then my three up front would be, I'm assuming Salah's not fit, by the way. So that's what I'm assuming. Okay.
No, assume he's fit.
Assume he's fit. Okay. If he is fit, it would be Salah, Jota, Diaz.
Salah, Jota, and Diaz.
Yeah.
Do you want to give any context behind those? Do you want to give any context behind those picks? No, I agree.
Can't drop Diaz. Jota's got a great record against Arsenal, and Mane's been decent at a false nine, but he's played more games there, had more better games. So I think Mane's been all right. He's not been bad, but I don't understand this fanfare for him playing there. To be honest, I think Jota he's had better games, and he dominated Arsenal at the Emirates. So I think you need to play Jota, and then you're not going to drop Salah, are you?
And just one last query, because I know it's your team, but I'm here to query. Thiago and Hendo alongside Fabinho.
Yep.
Must have been tough leaving Naby out, the form he's in.
Possibly, but the certain games I think you need Henderson. I think you need that and he has played well, Grizz. It's not like I'm being just from my heart here. Like they've both played well, Hendo and Naby. I just think at times you just need you need that captain just to stop a bit of complacency, because a record against Arsenal for playing well and not finishing them off is pretty bad. I think there's numerous games that go there. Oh, playing well, nah, free. Mesut Ozil special free game. I think that last season 2-1 Virgil van Dijk and Alisson, they're not on a football pitch. I don't know what they're doing in that game. There's so many times like that, and not just games like that where obviously it didn't matter. And I just think we need that to be strong and ruthless. And sometimes we're not. As much as that sounds crazy, there's some games we're not ruthless, and I think we need to be tomorrow.
Errol, how are you setting up tomorrow?
Yeah, literally like for like, apart from the number 9. I'm going Mane. If we're going on the assumption that Salah's going to be fit, I don't think we know Klopp's not going to drop him. But I genuinely think it's going to be Mane. I think Jota's still struggling since he's come back from his injury. He's not been on the level that he was pre-injury, so I think he's still struggling a little bit. And I wouldn't be surprised if between now and the end of the season we see Mane playing that number 9 and Diaz getting more of those minutes on that left-hand side for us, simply because until Jota's back up to speed, I could see him potentially, depending on the draw we get in the Champions League and depending on, I think he'll play on the weekend, Jota, again, trying to get him to, he'll come on in this game, but in terms of getting a full 90 minutes, I think the Forest game is the one where you'd expect them to, with the likes of Taki and Origi. So, and again, trying to get Bobby back into the side. I think he's an option off the bench because we know he can hurt Arsenal. I just think in terms of this front three now, Klopp seems pretty set on trying to get as many minutes out of them as possible in case he needs to utilise them for a big game, say the City game, the Man U game, or a tough Champions League tie. I think that's going to be his new look from three for the rest of this season anyway. It's just my gut feeling at the moment, but everything else that you said there, Conroy, you pretty much nailed on. I'd have exact same midfield for all the reasons you already established.
Before we get into the Arsenal lineups very quickly, I'm just going to put it out to you guys. Any case for Matip and Konate, or Konate over Matip because of the pace of Arsenal? Because Matip struggled in that League Cup semi-final. He got taken off at half-time, didn't he? I think he did. People in the chat will remind me if I'm wrong.
He did. Because Konate came on. Yep.
Yeah.
He came on.
So I don't. Any case you obviously Matip's fucking he's beautiful, isn't he? He's just beautiful.
He's just been player of the month. He's just been player of the month. He's just set up an assist. He's in good form. We don't really need to manage his minutes. I seen a stat the other day basically saying for Liverpool, he has now completed the most minutes in his Liverpool career.
Yeah.
That's not a surprise.
Yeah.
No, but do you know what? The first two seasons we had him, he had played over 2,500 minutes anyway. So he's only nearly like another 200 or so minutes above those seasons.
It spells, didn't it? So I think the Premier League, he started them, and then the Champions League campaign towards the end he played, but there was always little injuries that stopped him at some points, if you know what I mean. Like not he had long spells, but this to me it feels like obviously the longest spell, which is a great thing. Yeah,
this has been his most complete body of work. But the one guy they've got to watch out for is Luis Diaz.
No, hold it right there, because that was my next question to these guys, right? So we pretty much know the Arsenal team. We don't even need to make the prediction. We know pending Gabriel, so we know it's going to be Cedric. They're not going to rush back Tomiyasu, the same mistake they made last time. Yeah, tell me if I'm wrong, because obviously we're cut short of time, all of us. It's going to be Gabriel and Ben White, Tierney, Xhaka, Odegaard,
Partey,
and then Martinelli, Saka and
Saka,
Lacazette. Any changes, guys? Do you think?
No.
No. So there's no chance of like Smith Rowe getting a game, maybe, or Pepe making a shot appearance.
No.
Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt it highly, if I'm honest.
So that's why I want to come to you guys, right? We don't know. If you ask 10 Liverpool fans, right, I think you'd maybe get 6, 7 different strike partnerships up front, the three. I want to ask you guys, who's the 3 that you want to face, and who's the 3 that you don't want to face out of the ones that we've got? Something different, because it's one of those ones. We don't know. Honestly, we don't know who the front 3 are right now, who can be. Who's the front 3 that you'd like to face?
Origi, Minamino, and...
No, Minamino don't count. And Origi, come on, out of the 5. Out of the 5. Allow Minamino, innit? Even though he played good against you lot.
I don't know if it was an open question, but
no.
5.
Out of the front 5, the main 5. It's hard because Bobby's got
Firmino up top.
you.
I'd rather Firmino up top rather than
whoever,
Mane or Jota. Not to say he hasn't buried us in the past, but I'd rather him there and deal with that threat. And on the wings, it's a mad one. Yeah, basically, probably
put Salah on the left and Jota on the right. That's probably your best bet, mate.
No, I know I'd go Firmino up top, and I'd go Mane and Jota. Keep Diaz and Salah away from me, man. Jesus.
Okay, so you'd go Mane, Firmino,
Jota, and Jota. Yeah,
and
that's still class. That's still class.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I'd do Mane, Firmino, and Diaz
as the ones that you'd like to face.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not shook at Diaz there, Turkish?
No, but he's got to make a choice.
Unknown entity, Jota, we know what he does against us, so I'd rather not see him. But Diaz, we'll see. Let's see what he does.
Who's the 3 that you don't want to face?
Well, Salah and Jota's the 2 by far.
And the 3rd one?
Diaz.
Salah, Jota, and Diaz.
That's the one. I'm the same.
It's not a very fun question, though, Grizz.
No, I'm not here to ask fun questions, man. Come on, man. I'm not here to ask fun questions, man. But
do you know what's funny? Do you know what's funny? Just quickly, Grizz. This is what makes me laugh when people say that Liverpool don't have no strength in depth. It's a madness statement. I've never understood this. They say that Manchester City's squad is so much stronger. And I look at that Liverpool setup there. We've just named 5. We've got the players in midfield that people forget about. You've just been arguing about whether Naby Keita should play or Jordan Henderson. You've just said Konaté has a chance of getting a centre back. You've not even mentioned the fact that Joe Gomez, who was one of the best centre backs a while ago, doesn't get a look in now. You've got Simicaz, who I think is great when Robbo's out. He comes in and does himself a job. Kelleher was pretty much the saviour of the reason you won silverware the other day. It's a madness. I don't get this. I said Liverpool win the league and everyone laughed because they don't have a strength in depth. I never understood it.
It's not been so much the strength and depth, it's the availability of the strength and depth that's always been. For me personally, I mean, some Liverpool fans will make that argument, mate, and you're totally right, but my argument's always been their availability. Will Naby be able to be an option if we need to turn to the bench to bring him on? Is Thiago's body going to be robust enough? Are we going to be able to get upwards of 5 to 10 goals from Origi and Minamino? Is Bobby going to find a resurgence? These were all the questions and question marks that we had. Matip's been a mainstay for the season, but will his body, at what point? We're playing Matip body breakdown bingo because we're expecting at some point in the season, my guy's going to go down and he's going to be out for the rest of it. So at what month do we think it's going to happen? And all these factors have played into probably the little bit of paranoia and the anxiety that Liverpool fans have got, or myself, I've got anyway, of we've got squad depth options that can manage games, but are we going to be able to use them when we need to? As and when Klopp needs to bring someone off from the bench, have we got the guy to turn around and go to? And this season, for the first time for a while, things have started to fall and click into place for us, man. So it's been a blessing.
I realized very early into the stream that United are playing at the same time, and that's why. But I didn't realize so many people are going to be watching them. But now they're all flooding to the stream and letting us know. But you know what I mean? It was a foregone conclusion, man. Like United it's like United, and everybody wanted United and Benfica in the next round, right?
Benfica got through.
Exactly. So Benfica through. Everybody's going to want Benfica.
Your favourite player, Nunez. Nunez got through as well, Grace.
I want him, man. I want that guy,
Don't
man. I
get
want that guy.
started on
Darwin
Nunez.
Nunes. Oh, Jesus. That guy is unreal.
Is that their striker?
Man,
There's
he's
better
quality.
options out there. People are saying, "See you later."
That's good. I like that. Got a lot of time for that.
But
A lot of time for
let's
that.
get some predictions in the building, man. Conrad, I'm going to start with you, man. Give us your prediction for tomorrow, then. After hearing all that lineups and how we think the game's going to go.
Going to go a bit different than I usually go, Grizz. I'm going to go 3-1. Yeah, I usually go like 2-0 clean sheet, but I do think Arsenal, you got to give credit. I hope we get a clean sheet, but in general, I think they'll have certain phases of play where their pressing will be good and they will get some chance. Especially our high line's been brilliant, but I think at times you can still get one chance. We're great at it, but in general, I think they might get with the, especially Martinelli and Saka. And in fairness to Lacazette's hold, it's been pretty good as well at times. So I'd say 3-1 Liverpool.
Dan?
I'm going to go 1-1. I'm going to go 1-1 because I feel like we have definitely improved and I'm a little bit more confident than I would be if we were on one of our bad runs. So I'm going to go optimistic, and that is as well, and say 1-1.
Errol?
I was going to go with what Conroy said, the 3-1, but Liverpool tomorrow are going to have to make a statement. We're playing an informed team in the Premier League, and if we can make that statement tomorrow, that is going to be a huge psychological blow to Man City. So for that reason, I think if it's not 3-1, it's going to be 3-0.
Turkish.
1-1.
1-1, yeah?
Yes, Turkish. My guy.
It's the safe, optimistic the scoreline to go with. I think it's hard to know what you're gonna get with us. Do you know what I mean? Even though we're in form, you know, the big sides, you know, it's a different game. It's a different ballpark. It's a mental game as much as it is a game of quality or youth. So it's a big test. But 1-1, I'll take that and go get 3 against Villa.
Yeah, hope.
And you still got to play Man United at home, Turkish,
Yes.
Dan. Right,
Yeah,
that's good as well. So
United at home.
Yeah, because I'll tell you who we'll be watching. We'll be watching with you that game. Don't worry, we'll be watching as well.
Tasty.
Even the Chelsea away game, I know a lot of Arsenal fans are upset at the timing of it because it's on the Wednesday before we play Man United midday on Saturday. But I actually don't mind it because Liverpool host Man United the day before. So we're both going in off the back of a big away game. And 24 hours difference, you know, I'd rather it be around the time when I know United are dropping points against you lot than any other time. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I think tomorrow's going to be tasty, people. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a walk in the park at all. The only thing that I like about us playing Arsenal is, you know, that offside line that you talk about, Conrad. I don't think they've got the runners from midfield to hurt us like other teams to do that. I think their runners come from wide positions. We struggle with runners that are coming from a deep position, and I think Odegaard and Xhaka are ball playing eights as opposed to make runs behind the offside line. That's the only thing that gives me hope. But it's going to be a cracking game. It's going to be a cracking atmosphere. I'm going to be there. Don't know which end I'm going to sit. No joke. I'm joking, man. Right, it is what it is, man. Listen, this has been a pre-match hype show. I want to thank everyone. You know what I mean? Everyone knows who everyone is. I ain't going to do the usual outros and intros. Love for you to come on, man. So much respect, Dan and Turkish. Obviously, we're going to catch up later on. Yeah. Thank you very much. And obviously, Errol and Conroy, thank you for the chat. Hopefully tomorrow we're going to be, this time tomorrow we're going to be 1 point behind Man City, eh? 1 point behind. Who would have thought that when we were 14
Chris,
points behind?
Calm it, Chris.
Calm it
down.
I'm calm. Reel it back. It's a huge game tomorrow. It is massive. I said it before. I said if we come out of Brighton and Arsenal away with 6 points, my God, I'm going to shout it from the rooftops. I'm not going to shout it yet because Arsenal's going to be tough, but we check you guys out tomorrow. This has been KHANAGE. This has been the pre-match hype show. Thank you everyone for tuning in. See you soon. Take care.